Hello, welcome to Living English. Today, we'll look at the language you need when catching public transport, such as a bus or a train. And we'll look at questions beginning with how. But first, let's catch up with Anne. In the last episode, Anne was waiting for a bus to go to the university where David's professor has a letter for her. Here she is, catching the bus.
Does this bus go to the university?
Yes, miss.
How much is that?
Single or day trip?
Sorry?
Are you coming back today?
Yes.
How long will you be at university?
I'm not sure. An hour, perhaps?
Single will do. You can use the same ticket to come back. That's $3, please.
How far is it?
Not far. About 4 kilometres from here.
How many stops is it?
About 10.
Thank you.
University. This is your stop, miss.
Oh, thank you. Where do I catch the bus to go back?
Just across the street, over there.
How often do the buses come?
Every 20 minutes. You won't have to wait long. It's 10:30. The next one's at 10:40 and then 11 o'clock.
Thanks. Goodbye.
Have a good day.
Let's look at language you need to catch a bus or a train. First, let's look at what Anne asks the bus driver.
Does this bus go to the university?
Practice this phrase with Anne in the clip now.
Does this bus go to the university?
She uses the simple present, using does or do because the bus goes to the university every day. It is a regular action. Practice with some other destinations. The city. Does this bus go to the city? The beach. Does this bus go to the beach? But maybe you don't know which bus goes to where you want. Then you would say, which bus goes to the university? Try this with some other destinations. The airport. Which bus goes to the airport? The shopping centre. Which bus goes to the shopping centre? Now listen again to Anne as she works out which ticket she has to buy.
How much is that?
Single or day trip?
Sorry?
Are you coming back today?
Yes.
There are 2 types of ticket. Anne has to choose which one she wants. Her answer should be one or the other. We use or when there is a choice. You can buy a single ticket or a day trip ticket, but not both. Let's look now at some of the other questions that the bus driver and Anne ask each other.
How long will you be at university?
I'm not sure. An hour, perhaps?
Try asking how long about some other things. Will you be gone? How long will you be gone? Will it take? How long will it take? We could say, how long will it take for something we are waiting for? If I was getting my car fixed, I could ask, how long will it take? The answer is an amount of time. What does Anne answer to the bus driver's question?
I'm not sure. An hour, perhaps?
Anne isn't sure how long she will be at the university. She thinks it might be an hour, so she says perhaps. An hour, perhaps. She could have said maybe. An hour, maybe. Listen to another question starting with how.
How far is it?
Not far, about 4 kilometres from here.
The question is, how far is it? How far is asking about distance. How much distance is it from where we are now? So how long is about time. How far is about distance. Try asking how far is it with Anne.
How far is it?
And what does the bus driver say about how far it is? He gives two answers. Listen.
Not far, about 4 kilometres from here.
First he says, not far. This is a general answer. He means it is not a great distance. Then he says more exactly how far it is, but he still says about. About 4 kilometres means approximately 4 kilometres. It could be a bit more or a bit less. Now let's look at another how question.
How many stops is it?
About 10.
Anne asks how many stops, so the answer has to be a number. And the bus driver says about 10. It could be 1 or 2 more or less than 10. And here's Michelle. Hello, Michelle.
Hello, Brenton. Hello, everyone.
How are you?
Good, thanks. Well, you just asked me how I am, and you've been looking at how questions. So let's look at them a bit more.
Good idea.
There are a number of common types of questions starting with how. We've already seen that how long asks about time.
Oh, excuse me. I've got to go.
How long will you be?
Not long.
How long can also ask about the length of something. Here's a piece of rope. How long is it? I'll have to measure it. It's 25 centimetres long. We can ask questions like this about anything that can be measured. You're back.
Oh, I said I wouldn't be long.
You can help me measure this box. Firstly, how long is it?
It's 36 centimetres long.
And how wide is it?
It's 25 centimetres wide.
And how high is it?
It's 20 centimetres high.
Now you try. First ask the questions, then answer. First ask about length. How long is it? 36 centimetres. It's 36 centimetres long. Now ask about the width. How wide is it? 25 centimetres. It's 25 centimetres wide. Now ask about height. How high is it? 20 centimetres. It's 20 centimetres high.
Anne also asked, how far is it?
Yes, she asked about distance. Here are 2 cups. How far is it from this cup to that cup?
It's 28 centimetres.
So we use how far to talk about the distance from one place to another place, and how long to talk about the length of one object.
How long are you, Michelle?
We don't use how long to talk about people. We use how tall. How tall are you?
Oh, that's right. Or we can say, what is your height?
You can use how in front of any adjective that can be measured or compared with other things. Here's a book. What can you ask about the book?
I could ask, how thick is that book?
It's very thick. What else?
How interesting is that book?
It's very interesting. It's all about English words.
How useful is that book?
It's quite useful if you're studying English.
Here's my coffee. What can you ask about the coffee beginning with how?
How hot? Now you ask. How hot is your coffee?
It's very hot.
Sweet. How sweet is your coffee?
It's not sweet at all. I don't like sweet coffee.
Good. How good is your coffee?
It's pretty good.
Anne asks one other how question in our episode. Let's look.
Where do I catch the bus to go back?
Just across the street, over there.
How often do the buses come?
Every 20 minutes. You won't have to wait long. It's 10:30. The next one's at 10:40 and then 11 o'clock.
What was the how question Anne asked? Listen again.
How often do the buses come?
She asked, how often do the buses come? How often means how many times a day or how many times an hour. What does the bus driver reply?
Every 20 minutes.
The buses come every 20 minutes. Let's look at a timetable. We can see on this timetable that buses come every 10 minutes. There's one at 9 o'clock and one at 10 past 9.
So they come often.
Yes, but on Sunday, they don't come so often.
On Sunday, they only come once every hour.
We've looked before at words you can use to talk about how often you do things. Do you remember them? Repeat them after me. Never. Occasionally. Sometimes. Often. Always. But you can also add words to these. Very often. Fairly often. Not very often. So let's look at our timetable again. The buses come every 10 minutes. So how often do the buses come? Very often. And how often do the buses come on Saturdays? Every half an hour. Fairly often. And how often do the buses come on Sunday? Only every hour. Not very often.
Better stay home on Sunday.
And finally, let's look at what the bus driver says as Anne gets off the bus.
Thanks. Goodbye.
Have a good day.
He says, have a good day. This is a way of saying goodbye politely and in a friendly way. Practice with the clip.
Thanks. Goodbye. Thanks. Goodbye.
Have a good day.
And it's time for us to say goodbye too.